Behind me are thousands of Kamala Harris supporters waiting to enter the rally here at the Ellipse in Washington, D.C., where Donald Trump spoke on January 6th.
To get Trump into the White House means to end American democracy.
Kamala Harris stands for democracy and freedom. Who wants that? You want to need a strong dictator to tell you what to do, like my good friend Donald J. Trump.
So Donald Trump is an American Nazi.
Definition of woman. Oh.
And it's a dividing question that I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
You might have me stumped on that one, friend. But I know it's badass.
Polls show that the race between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump is tightening just days before the election. There's a lot happening. Ballot boxes are being burned in Vancouver, and Donald Trump held his biggest rally in New York City. And today I'm here to explore and find out what Democrats really stand for and how they envision making the American dream possible. Big shout out to American Hartford Gold for sponsoring this video. All right, let's hit the road and go ask Kamala Harris supporters simple policy questions.
These are the top 6 issues that concern every American, so I'll be asking Kamala supporters their stance on these issues. Starting with the very first person in line who has been waiting here since 7 in the morning.
Hi, my name is Tracy Lauren, and I was #1 here this morning. Absolutely not. Abortion should not be banned. I think that the government definitely shouldn't be telling women what to do with their bodies, and I think that is between a woman and her doctor and her partner. Don't like the term illegal immigrants. I always thought that was a very strange. So undocumented, I don't think that it's criminal. I think that obviously if they commit crimes, then that is something that we should look to. Obviously, it's better if people come here in the right way. There are many people who come here the right way, but there's many people who don't, of all colors. And I think the problem is the immigration focus is always on immigrants that are from South America, Central America, never Europe, never Canada. So I think that it comes down to a race issue. Yeah, I think under 18, I'm not really a fan of that. I feel like we're still forming. I think after 18, after 21, when you've had an opportunity to really live life, and maybe I feel like you're still making decisions and you're still growing as a minor. I think that's a very, very, very heavy responsibility and a very big decision to make at that age. Obviously, I don't have any children, so I can't really comment on what a person should or should not do with their children. But I do think that's a heavy responsibility and a heavy decision for someone who is so young to make. Should there be limits on abortion? Well, I think that the limitations that we had in Roe versus Wade were great. There are all kinds of things that can happen to a woman. I think when the woman's life is in jeopardy, you got to act. It's important to have a choice what to do with your body. Obviously, I believe in life, but I also believe that a woman should have the opportunity to make that decision. And the woman's life is important as well. So if you're pro-life, you have to be completely pro-life. And I feel like the anti-abortion crusade kind of goes too far with it, right? It's a complicated issue. There's no easy solution. It's very, very complex, but I think that Roe versus Wade had it right. And so now that it's gone, we see the consequences of that, and we see that women are suffering like they were before Roe versus Wade, which is the reason why there was such the push to have Roe in the first place. And so now you have women that are dying unnecessarily because of these extreme bans that are happening across the country.
Guys, I want to take a quick break to tell you guys the sponsor of today's video, American Hartford Gold. As you guys know that our savings are under constant pressure from record inflation, taxes, and high interest rate, I want to tell you guys how you can protect your savings. Buying gold is literally like insurance on your savings, because gold is often considered as hedge against inflation. If you were to buy gold in 2019, it was $1,286.50, and today it's $2,763. So in only 5 years, it has doubled. Here's the deal, guys. American Hartford Gold provides Gold IRA, which is tax-free and penalty-free. They have no buyback fees. They have free storage and delivery services, and not only that, they have high ratings, and if you're new to buying gold, they're also providing free education and support system. American Hartford Gold has 5-star ratings, and they're also giving away up to $15,000 of free gold and silver on your first qualifying order. All you have to do is text Dohaa to 65532 or call 866-643-9432, or you could also click the link in description. Back to the video. Then we saw this guy who was literally holding a Nazi sign and telling people that Trump is a traitor, so we asked him some serious questions.
Flush traitor. Is that a baby Donald Trump?
That's a baby Donald Trump with the Nazi swastika on him.
Don't you think it's too extreme?
What do you have to say about that?
I would say events like these attract bad comments. I am experiencing the bad joke that is the United States that is right now today. We are here at possibly, if Kamala Harris does not win next week, we are here to experience the birth of American Nazism. I would say to you that Donald Trump is a crybaby trying to impress people that he is a tough and evil German Nazi soldier. He is not. He is a wimp. He is a softball jello. There was a joke line that they made in his rally that there is a floating pile of garbage.
There's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
I would say yes, there's a floating pile of garbage in the United States.
What do you think Donald Trump has done that's hateful?
He doesn't want to have anybody in the United States have a say-so, but he wants to be the de facto dictator or king of the United States. That is not how we do it here. Free speech, free assembly for speech. Next week, if Donald Trump wins, I will be spending a lot of time in jail because he's going to take everybody that disagrees with him, not just the women, not just the minorities, but anybody that disagrees with him, and put him in jail. To get Trump into the White House means to end American democracy. That is not acceptable. So we have to put Kamala Harris into the White House because that's the only way to get to the next step. When I first started to vote back in 1971, in my district, Connie Morello, a Republican, was there. She was a common sense Republican, and I voted for her every single time that I could. Kamala Harris, one point she was talking about making Medicare free for everybody. That would be really hard to do in America the way it is right now. I believe that it has to have a compromise situation where you have a mix of government and private sector. The 5 most advanced economies in the world, we should be more like them instead of being how we are right now, which is that if you have the money, then you can have health care. If you don't have the money, then you are just pushed to the side.
This wasn't the only Kamala supporter wearing Nazi costumes. There were other people as well that we interviewed later in this documentary.
3 of her policies to unite the country, to stabilize the border, the southern border, and to bring the middle class up to where it should be in this country first instead of second. I think pro-choice. I think a woman should have a choice for their own body. Should illegal immigrants be criminalized? Well, that's assuming that the immigrant has been charged with a crime. If you've been charged with a crime, you should face the punishment. I guess I don't understand the question. What should the government's stance be on the transgender issue? I don't think the government needs to be involved in people's lives like that. If people need to live their lives the way they want to, they're not committing any crimes. You know, you should be asking these questions to a politician. I think tax cuts for billionaires is necessary.
Tax cuts for billionaires?
I'm sorry, not tax cuts, no. I don't think they should be taxed. I think they need to be taxed more. No. They need to pay their fair share.
This is an independent, unbiased channel to explore and show you guys the reality. So make sure you like the video and subscribe at Dohaa the Explorer. This is one of the most diverse political rallies, as I saw people with tons of different costumes and characters that were definitely entertaining to watch.
Good evening, everyone. Okay. Thank you so much for your question. Okay, let's start with this. Donald Trump is an unserious man. I've said it many times. He wants us to go back to a place that we used to be. Do you remember what that was like? We're going forward. Okay, let me be very clear about that. I'm unburdened by Donald. The government has no right to tell a woman what to do with her own body, period. I think that people should make decisions about their bodies, and it should be up to them and their parents and their faith and whatever it is that suits them. As my running partner Tim Wall says, mind your own damn business. The first thing I did when I first got into office is we had a comprehensive bill that Donald Trump torpedoed. We have to reach across the aisle and make it work. I've been to the border and we have a plan. Yes, there are many systems that are still in effect that are damaging and harming millions and millions of Americans. So we have to address the root causes of the issues that are keeping many people from succeeding, which is why I am fighting hard to ensure that we bring all Americans to an even playing field so we can all grow and do better. He may exist, but we're going to unburden him from the office, and then we will exist in the context of all in which we live and what came before us, okay?
She's got so many achievements. Her greatest achievement is going to be winning this election on November 5th in a blue wave like this country has never seen. But other than that, just breaking the glass ceilings for all of the women that are coming behind her. Her policies on first-time homeowners, getting a tax incentive on that. No tax on tips is a great policy that she's working toward. And obviously, abortion access and women's health care, and just making sure that all the people in this country have the opportunity to have control and sovereignty over their own bodies is definitely one of the things I admire most about her. Frankly, my thoughts on abortion don't really matter. It's up to each individual woman to make that choice for her when and if she's ready to be a mother. But when you put these abortion bans in place, it doesn't just affect women who are seeking that medical care. Doctors are fleeing red states with abortion bans. Women won't be able to go get basic gynecological care from doctors. Practices are shutting down, and no new doctors are moving into those states. So I don't think my personal opinion on abortion matters. I think it's up to each individual woman to have the choice on when and if she wants to be a mother. I obviously already did that. I'm not a doctor, so again, I just think that is between women and their doctors. Statistically, most women that have abortions in late stages of pregnancy need that due to a medical emergency or because the fetus is no longer viable. It is an absolute lie to think that women are having abortions in the 7th, 8th, and 9th month of their pregnancy. No sane woman carries a baby to term and then just wakes up one day and changes her mind and is like, I'm gonna have an abortion today. That woman does not exist. We need to empower women and stop telling these lies. It's so insulting to women everywhere. Well, one thing I think that would really help the border crisis is if we could do a better and more fast-tracked pathway to legal citizenship. It takes the average immigrant 10 years to gain legal citizenship in the United States. So I think incentivizing them to come here legally would be greatly improved if we could expedite that process. I am from a northern state in Pennsylvania, so we don't really share a border. My heart goes out to those that live on the border. Not something that I'm super well-versed in, though. The best thing that I can say is that I've listened to firsthand accounts of people crossing the Darien Gap. I can't imagine what it would take for me to flee my home with my child and leave all of my possessions. I can't imagine what it would take for me to face that. So I certainly don't think that it should be criminalized for people that are, seeking refuge and seeking asylum. But I do think that there should be a legal pathway to citizenship that is easily navigatable for people seeking asylum in the United States.
He told us it's very dangerous, extremely dangerous, especially for us, who might never make it, who can get robbed, kidnapped, or even killed.
I am not an immigration expert. I live in a northern state that doesn't share a border with anything but Ohio. No, I think if people are fleeing war-torn countries, if people are fleeing places like Haiti that are devastated by earthquakes and hurricanes, I would never tell somebody, a mother fleeing a country with her children, that you should be criminalized for doing what every mother should do, and that's provide a better life for their children. Of woman? I think that's up to each individual lady out there. No, what it means to me to be a woman is not the same as what it means to all the women in this line. For me, it's pink hair and lipstick. For them, it might be something else. Oh, definition of woman. You might have me stumped on that one, friend. But I know it's badass and it's awesome. Go Kamala, blue wave, baby!
America has one of the largest Jewish populations, and historically Jewish people have always been Democrats, so we found a Jewish American guy who wanted to give his thoughts.
Three things that concern me the most as a Jewish American. My biggest concerns are just with the state of democracy, also abortion rights, women's rights as a whole. My biggest concern by far is just the very non-democratic things Trump has said and threatened, especially like the recent "the enemy from within." If you're curious about my views on Israel-Gaza, I generally agree with what Kamala has been saying recently, and that Israel has gone way too far in its response. And October 7th was a terrible, terrible attack on the country. Israel had a right to attack Hamas, but they've indiscriminately bombed Gaza, and it's gone beyond the point of just a basic military operation. It's not military targets, so it's not right. I do think there should be a cutoff point somewhere around the end of the second trimester or beginning of the third. I will admit I'm not the most educated on fetal development, but just the point of developed consciousness, which is really hard to pinpoint. But late second trimester would be my guess. As someone from Texas, it should be discouraged, but I believe that there should be a path to citizenship for anyone who wants to come to this country. The Statue of Liberty, it's what it stands for. You know, this is supposed to be a place of opportunity, and so many people are fleeing violence and horror in their home countries. They are genuine, honest people who want to come to work, but they're being villainized by the right, being called all these terrible things. I mean, Trump says they're eating the dogs and cats, but
they're eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets.
It's ridiculous. They are hard workers who want to come to this country but are not able to wait for months and years at a time, because it's really hard to naturalize in the current way it has to be done. So yeah, that's my overall views.
It should be rare and legal. Bill Clinton's definition is still one that holds, I think. Nobody cherishes having to go through an abortion. That is such a horror show image. It's a false dichotomy set up by Donald Trump and his evil crew. Nobody is ripping babies out of the womb at 9 months, and it's just insane. What is happening is you're seeing that women in need of real care because of pregnancies that have gone bad or entropic, that they're unable to get the health care they need, and they're dying or they're going through horrible tragedy. It's not right, and it's really at issue in this campaign, in this election, because they definitely, no matter what he's saying at the moment, to guise what is actually an overwhelming majority of his support wanting a national abortion ban. And it's insane, and it's religious zealotry gone wild. What do I disagree with? Well, if I disagree with anything, it's her reticence to, which seems to be quickly falling away, to distance herself over the Gazan issue with Israel and with Joe Biden's staunch support at every turn, even though it's turned into what could and has been viewed as a genocide.
Well, first and foremost, because she is the most qualified for the job. She's been vice president for 3 years. She was a state's attorney general for the state of California. She was a former prosecutor. She was a state senator. And she understands real issues. She understands the Constitution, number one. She understands government. She understands the need for coming together between different parties to come to consensus for the best for all people in the United States. You know, I think we've had enough of bipartisan politics. I think we need someone who really cares about everyone from the ground floor up to the top, and that's who she is.
What is an assault weapon?
Usually they're military-grade weapons that fire off continuous rounds. And so when you're thinking in terms of what we should have in our personal homes, we don't need that. We know that assault weapons kill so many people, particularly when you think about those who go into schools, who go into universities, who go into businesses, and they kill people indiscriminately for whatever issue they personally have. Typically, they're using assault weapons. There's no need for assault weapons to defend one's home and property.
Can you define what is a woman?
I'm a woman. There are plenty of women, but I'm not going to get into that because now you're getting into something that is different to each person. And it's a dividing question that I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. So we're not going to do that. And so I'm so sorry. It's time for us to go, but thank you so much for the opportunity. Vote Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris for president. And if you want to know another reason why, read Project 2025. Thank you.
Sure, there are people who end the interview due to disagreement, but I saw people showing their concerns about the war in Ukraine and Russia, as well as the Palestine-Israel conflict. As we moved on, we met a Haitian physician who had a lot to say about the issues we previously discussed.
My name is Deborah St. Fard. I'm a physician from University of Colorado, and I am voting for Vice President Kamala Harris to be President of the United States. As a physician in the state of Colorado, I'm grateful for the policies that we have there that protect women's health care. That's what this is. We now, because of Trump's abortion ban, we have women literally dying every day. I have 2 daughters. I hope if they want, we'll be able to have children in the future. And I am petrified, absolutely petrified of what might happen to them if the pregnancy were to go awry. They potentially would die. And I worked my butt off to keep my kids healthy and keep them alive and away from, drugs and all these things that can kill them. And now all of a sudden, I have to worry about their wanting to start a family, or heaven forbid, they're being taken advantage of and raped by someone, and then not being given a chance about their body. And especially if something were to go wrong and I were to lose one of my daughters, who's to blame for that? Trump. Is there anything that Trump has said that I agree with? That Vance is an idiot. So I think the crisis at the border is real and it is significant. I must tell you that I'm a Haitian immigrant. And so I also recognize that what goes on in other countries, where my father, for instance, was literally on a disappearing list, which means that's a hit list by Duvalier, and that's why we fled, and I came here in 1965 as a 6-month-old child. So those oppressions, people who are fearing for their lives, that's real. Or even people who, when they're seeking asylum, we did that. We were so grateful to be able to come here, and both my parents are physicians, and I'm a physician, and so we've lived that American dream, and I'm grateful. I have 2 daughters, one's at Princeton University, one's at Swarthmore College. We're living the American dream. And so to have Trump be so demeaning and cruel to Haitians and Puerto Ricans and anyone who is not white, let me state that. I'll restate that. Trump is cruel and demeaning and hostile to anyone who is not white. He is unabashedly racist. He is unabashedly misogynistic. And the 50% in this country who are supporting him need to understand that that is what they are supporting and that is what they are stating if they are voting for him. So let's be clear about that. Vice President Kamala Harris will be able to enact the bill that was put forward by, I think it was Senator Langford, a Republican, which was a tough bill for the border, and it's Trump who undermined that effort. So this is not about Vice President Harris and her efforts at the border. This is about Trump killing the bill by accusing or letting all the Republicans know to not support a bill that was supported by a bipartisan group in Congress. This is about Trump once again. He is not interested in solving problems, and Kamala Harris is.
Do you think Biden is real and alive, or is he an AI?
That's funny. At least I saw a picture of President Biden standing in line to vote. So I am so grateful to President Joe Biden for standing out of the way to allow the next generation to lead this country forward. That is what I have to say about President Joe Biden. I have sent letters to him and emails to him thanking him, and I just hope that he knows how much we love everything that he's done. His presidency has helped America a lot, and I believe that I understand I'm paying for groceries still that are more expensive than I would like. But these things take time. And Kamala Harris is on the job. She has prosecuted people who for fraud and people who elevate prices for no reason. So we're going to vote her into office, and she's going to take care of it. And plus, inflation is moving in the right direction. So I'm good.
As we continued documenting the rally, there were people petitioning Taylor Swift to retract her endorsement of Kamala, until we met a former Republican who we couldn't resist interviewing.
I'm David Finkel, and I'm voting for the Constitution. In other words, the Vice President. Abortion, that's between a woman, her doctor, and her higher power. Nobody else's business.
Is there something you disagree with Kamala Harris?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I agree with Donald Trump that when he finally admitted he lost the election of 2020, he was right when he said that. I think he didn't mean to say it, but he was correct. I don't have enough knowledge. That's between the family and the doctor.
Yeah, like people are saying.
President Biden is a very wonderful human being who has done a lot for this country. Yes, his time's nearly up, but no, he's just a man who did good things. The 3 favor: make a fair tax plan that includes the top 1%. That's 1. Making it easier for immigrants to process legally. That's 2. And to defeat Trump. That's 3. Save the Constitution and step down.
As time went by, more and more people were coming to join the rally. We kept interviewing more liberals and wanted to share this specific interview from two young ladies who had very honest thoughts.
My name's Madison. I'm going to be voting for Kamala Harris.
And my name's Penelope, and I'll also be voting for Kamala Harris.
I personally think at the end of the day, we need somebody who's going to treat immigrants like people, whether they're legal immigrants or illegal immigrants. At the end of the day, they're families, their mothers, their sisters, their fathers and brothers. And I think it's actually extremely horrendous how Trump speaks about immigrants, whether they're legal or illegal. I personally work with a nonprofit that helps refugees and asylum seekers here in the DMV area. I help them with resume making and getting jobs and just sort of getting to know these people on an individual basis. There's a lot of stereotypes that are perpetuated about the border problems. And while I agree that illegal immigration can have an impact on the economy, at the end of the day, they're just people. Not everyone coming across the border is a criminal or wants to hurt people. So I think we just need somebody who understands the reality of the situation and doesn't blow out of proportion for political views.
Yeah, I completely agree. I am presently taking a class on refugees, and I volunteer with a program called Mosaic that works directly with refugees as well. So I work to help them secure programs on how to write resumes, how to get jobs, and how to secure jobs for themselves. And I want to be an immigration lawyer in the future, and I completely understand that people need to be understood as people. It's so important that our rhetoric towards immigrants and refugees is humanizing, and Trump advance failed to do that.
Abortion is a woman's right to choose. I think whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, it should all boil down to just everybody being pro-choice. Personally, my views of abortion, I'm not religious. I don't have anything against abortions. But at the same time, I think that having a choice to get one and to not get one falls under the protections of Roe v. Wade. Like, I think it's annoying how a lot of Republican and right-leaning politicians will make it this women want to go out and get late-term abortions on purpose just for fun, when it's actually a very invasive medical procedure. I have a right to either get a medical procedure at like a lung transplant or a heart transplant, whether I want to or not. So I think it should just be the same with abortion. It's a medical procedure at the end of the day, and it doesn't affect anybody except the doctor that I'm working with and myself.
People are going to get abortions no matter what. It's just a matter of if they get them safely. And with getting rid of the protections from Roe v. Wade, it means that more people are going to die from getting abortions. The number of abortions will not go down. It's just the number of women dying from unsafe abortions will.
There are small policies that I disagree with. Personally, I'm very much pro-Palestine. I think that we should be helping people in that conflict. I don't think we should be funding any more arms races or any more war in the Middle East. And I know Kamala has a different stance on that, but I also understand at the end of the day that I'm not a professional. I'm not sitting in the rooms making these decisions. So the opinion that I have out here as a civilian may be completely different than the actual facts that other government officials have. But I think at the end of the day, it's all about the overarching policies. Kamala is going to give me the right to choose whether I have to keep or terminate a pregnancy. She's going to ensure that I have a right as a woman to be able to be in the government. I think at the end of the day, if I were to meet her, she'd treat me like a person. And I can't say the same about Trump.
I mean, there are definitely some small policies, and I also am pro-Palestine, and so I think ending funding towards Israel is important, but also it's just the fact that Kamala is someone that would support I'm queer, so having someone who would support my rights to continue being able to get married to whoever I want, being able to have bodily autonomy and being able to exist, get my education, I think is the most important thing, and Kamala does those things for me.
See, that's a hard one. I personally don't think Trump's a good person. I mean, maybe it's just a persona he puts on. There are things I genuinely agree with J.D. Vance on. I do believe that as a people, we need to unify. I won't lie, there are some conservative economic plans that I think are decent. I think that they could help out with inflation. But at the end of the day, I do believe that this election should be more about human and civil rights than anything else. Because at the end of the day, the economy is an independent bubble. Like, the market economy is set up so that way it will run itself. That's the point of having a market economy. While we may have people that can help to influence it, at the end of the day, the capitalist economy will continue in the business cycle that it will. So I think at the end of the day, right now, I just want to focus on being able to have personal rights between my doctor, myself, and just sort of in general.
Yeah, I'm a student, and so obviously I'm not going to be well versed on absolutely everything, but there are some economic policies from Trump that I agree with on some stances, but it's an argument of humanity and civil rights, and that's the most important thing to me. And Trump lacks any humanity for anyone other than himself, so that's why Kamala's got my vote.
Oh,
I don't know about that one.
I would want to make a really funny joke, but I do think that sort of like AI and deepfakes is a more serious conversation than what a lot of people are having. The funny part to me wants to say that he's not even AI, he's just a projection. Like if you've ever watched like Futurama, like that's just Joe Biden, but I think like...
I don't know what he is, but he's there. Yeah, he's real, but how real? Up for debate.
I wanted to finish this documentary with Democrats sending one last message to the presidential candidate Donald Trump. Let's see what liberals have to say.
Anything you guys want to say to Donald Trump?
You know I got it. But if you're at home, all the respect when you get home.
Donald Trump.
Go suck it.
Bye, Donald Trump.
I don't really align with his...
Sayonara, Donald.
Kamala Harris stands for democracy and freedom. Who wants that? You want to need a strong dictator to tell you what to do. Like my good friend Donald J. Trump, he will be the supreme leader of the United States. He will crush all opposition and throw all these people in the concentration camp. And I'm going to help him with that. Because in North Korea, we have the best concentration camps. He wants freedom. Too much bickering. Democracy doesn't work. You need a man of action.
Anything you want to say to Donald Trump?
We'll see you on election day.
Fuck you. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Please, go away.
Not that I can say on camera.
Any message you want to send to Donald Trump?
Fuck you. Get your hands off my pussy.
Same thing everyone wants to say to Donald Trump right here, but that's... You don't want to hear what I have to say. No.
Come on, say it. Just say it. Just say it.
So, yeah. I'm a gentleman, you know. I don't. All I know is he's a POS. That's all I can say.
Okay.
Enjoy his retirement in Florida. So that's,
Hey, Donald Trump's the Blue Falcon.
all the crap that he does is anything that comes out of his mouth is a damn lie. And I try to tell my brother veterans that. I said, what the hell's wrong with you? Oh, we love Trump. What are you freaking kidding me? He wants to kill us. He wants to turn around. And another thing I'm really pissed off is he wants to take our veterans benefits away. I'm totally disabled. I rely on that plus my Social Security because I'm pieced together. I'm a Vietnam veteran.
Thank you for your service.
Appreciate it. Just like these guys here, they're from different eras, but we're all brothers. You spend 180 days in the service, I don't care what branch anymore. It used to be not that way, but we're all brothers.
Bye-bye.
No, I don't want to talk to him.
Go to hell. No, I don't want to say with Donald Trump.
Go Kamala. I don't want to have a message for Donald Trump. No, thank you. Go home.
Anyone who supports him, my heart goes out to you because I think you're profoundly uneducated.
To Donald Trump.
Yes, to Donald Trump. Any message you want to send to?
I don't like you very much. I don't like the spray tan. Like, I don't know if anyone's told him that, but I can't take it. Messing up your hair color. I feel like he'd make a good brunette. Like, I could see brunette. I don't think blonde suits.
Also, your climate policies are awful. You have no foreign policy. You have no idea what you're doing with immigration. You have no idea what you're doing with minorities.
I can't say it out loud.
Not allowed? It's gonna be behind closed doors.
No, I said I can't say it out loud.
Yeah, okay.
Just go away. Leave us in peace. That's all I ask. Go away. I don't care where you go. Get out of the Quebec and Mar-a-Lago. Stay there. Don't come out anymore. We're tired of you.
Despite all the differences, fights, chaos, and disagreements between people,
why did we have to fund Israel? Why did we have to pay for the genocide? Everybody had to pay for this the last year.
there was one message that I think applies to all of us and resonates among the hearts of American people. Regardless of whether you are a Republican or a Democrat, I'm very glad that this lady said this.
I have something to say. It'd be really nice if you learned how to be kind, because compassion, it gives back.
I hope you guys have a good understanding of what Kamala Harris supporters think. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And with that being said, I will see you next time. Dohaa, Dohaa, Dohaa,